is yours if it makes you feel alright. I wanna dance.
LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know that. It does not matter who the host is. What matters is who exactly the listeners are. That's the important portion. Anyways, how are you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. Anyways, today's Thursday, November the 3rd of 2022. What is it? It's day 307th of the year. Where has the time gone, right? Where has the time gone? It's only 58 days remaining. Yes, it's the 5-8. It's the 5-8er. It's the 5-8er. Yeah, that's what's left before we get to the end of this thing. Anyways, we are broadcasting live and in living color from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. So anyways, how are things with you? Are you doing fantastic? How has the last 23, 24 hours been? Yeah, some dilemmas this week with some of the social media branding of stuff that we do. So just in case if you were wondering about that, because we talked about it earlier this week, it seems to be steady Eddie at the moment, but we'll see how that goes because, you know, things do change relatively quick. Anyways, like I said, broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, coming across the multiverse that we do here in Safety FM, you know, with the apps, the different things. But then we hang out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
So we hang out on Radio Big as well. And let me kind of explain. So let me give the explainer of Ainers. Because I've noticed a couple of different things, which I think is kind of funny. We've been talking quite a bit that we are found on iHeartRadio. But there's been some confusion there. So, yeah, you can find this show on the iHeartRadio, but Radio Big streams 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on iHeartRadio. So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we can be found on the Radio Big side of the house over there, streaming constant new info going on over there. So just in case, that's where we get to, we get to hang out with a whole bunch of different peeps. We got Van Camp and Morgan. We got John and Heidi. We got Christy Scott. We got the Terry Dean Show. And, of course, this show right here, I don't know if you know this, but it is kind of a 3-hour one. This is hour one that we do on Safety FM and Radio Big. And then I go off after this first hour and then hang out for the next 2 on Radio Big exclusively. So, but we do it with no video. Yeah, no video. So that's what's going on there. So I just wanted to make sure that we were clear with that, not just it was a podcast, as some like to say. A podcast. We can now be found on a podcast. So there you go. So that's what happens there. Anyways, let's get into some important stuff. If this is the first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming in, hanging out, and doing the things. So just for purposes of talking, I do not do much with the chats inside of the world that go on inside of the social media groups. If you do want to interact and talk, there is kind of 2 options on doing that. So let me explain what I normally do, because I think that this will be the easier way of doing it. What you would need to do is if you go into, and this is going into callinradio.com, that will get everything going. Callinradio.com We'll get everything going for you in regards of moving and grooving. So if you do that, call in radio, that will get everything going for you. That's the video, the audio, and everything else. And then if you go to our other portion that we talk about, which is Radio Big or Safety FM, and click on the one that says virtual radio, there's a chat button there. Those come directly to me. The other ones I have to dig for. And that's kind of, some rough stuff to do as we are doing this. Anyways, talking about some rough stuff, let's talk about what's trending.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so in the trends of ends, let's talk about it. Yesterday, hashtag boom boom. Avatar was on the way of the water and landed on Twitter Top 10's trend on Wednesday after director James Cameron released some of the new footage for the film. So I have to tell you, I've been thinking the whole year, I really haven't done much with the theater this year. And I said, maybe it's time to go back to the theater. And I was going to wait for Avatar, The Way of the Water to go back. And I saw the preview yesterday, and I thought it looked very cartoonish. But the thing is that James Cameron does so much great tech that I get kind of worried about what might be missed. The FOMO of what you might miss if you don't end up going to see it there. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Anyway, something else that was there was Wednesday was Old Souls Day, a.k.a. the Day of the Dead. The day is used to honor those who have passed on. That's the time you really want to be in Mexico, taking a look at their Day of the Dead celebration that goes on. And I'm going to tell you, I really thought that we would be doing some Mexico things here at the end of the year as we had been discussing. But one of those things in life came up that I had to cancel the trip. Yeah, I was supposed to be leaving here in just a few days. That's really the way that it was supposed to happen. Anyways, let's talk real quick. Wayne Brady says that Robin Williams' death made him address his own depression issues. The story led to the late comedian to trend on Twitter on Wednesday, with users sharing their favorite memories and roles that he played. We can talk more about Brady if you want a little bit later. And then for some weird reason, hashtag Trump is dead was trending on Wednesday. He isn't. It is unknown why and where the hashtag started, but it was something related to it trending on Twitter. And it's kind of making me wonder, because I know that, there's been some discussions of no censoring on Twitter. Was that just trying to prove a point to see if things would be censored or not? I don't know. It kind of makes you go, what the hell's going on is really what it makes you think about. But hey, what do I know? What do I know there? That is for sure so. Anyways, with that being said, let's get moving and grooving and start doing the things that we do about here. So we do safety in the news and safety. We cover some stuff. We talk about other stuff. We do some stuff. We bring in the professional broadcasters. They let you know what the hell's going on. And then we kind of call it a day. As we move on to hour 2 and 3, which today will be an interesting hour 2 and 3, by the way, which I guess we'll talk a little bit about that the closer that we get. With that being said, let's do the stuff. Let's get you into the news, because I think that that's going to be important.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brad Siegel. Former President Barack Obama campaigned for Arizona Democratic candidates Wednesday night in Phoenix. He blasted Republican governor candidate Kari Lake for rejecting the 2020 election results and for pushing tax cuts.
Now that's great if you're running to be Donald Trump's best friend, except you know what? Arizona needs a governor who actually cares about you. Someone who will work and fight for you every day. Somebody like Katie Hobbs.
Obama spoke for nearly an hour praising Senator Mark Kelly and Democratic governor candidate Katie Hobbs. He said he understands why some people want nothing to do with politics that often lacks civility, but says tuning out is not an option. U.S. Capitol Police are launching an internal review into the missed camera images involved in the attack on Paul Pelosi. Pelosi was hit several times with a hammer after an intruder broke into his home looking for his wife, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Capitol Police say it has cameras aimed at the San Francisco home, but the images were not actively being monitored monitored on the night of the attack because the House Speaker was in the nation's capital at the time. The man who killed 17 people in the Parkland, Florida school shooting will spend life behind bars. Judge Elizabeth Scheer on Wednesday sentenced Nicholas Cruz to life in prison without parole. In 2018, the 19-year-old Cruz opened fire on staff and students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida. This week's internet rate hike ahead of holiday shopping season has shoppers in Denver thinking twice before buying gifts. Several holiday shoppers plan on saving more than spending due to the economic situation.
We might just have a light Christmas this year.
We're all going to do a little less buying at Christmas time.
The Federal Reserve announced another federal funds interest rate increase Wednesday, the fourth consecutive three-quarter-point hike this year. The effective federal interest rate is now at 4% for the first time since late 2007. A survey by Deloitte Insights shows shoppers in Denver will purchase 7 fewer gifts this year. Brad Siegel, NBC News Radio.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. North Korea's fired multiple ballistic missiles, with one of them disappearing from radar. A deal's been reached in talks in South Africa to halt a 2-year conflict in Ethiopia. The Prime Minister of Albania is accusing the UK of unfairly blaming the citizens of his country for the migrant crisis. And a toxic layer of smog's covering India's capital, New Delhi, with air quality deteriorating to the very poor category.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
A San Francisco Bay Area company that manufactures COVID tests is laying off more than 1,000 employees. Julie Ryan has more.
That's according to a worker adjustment and retraining notification, or WARN letter, that recently went out from Cepheid. The company produces a 15-minute COVID test kit, among other medical tests and devices. The largest job loss will be at their Newark manufacturing center, which is shutting down, leaving 683 people without jobs. Job cuts are also affecting their Sunnyvale, Santa Clara, and Lodi locations, with a total of 1,046 jobs cut. The WARN letter said that all impacted associates will be offered outplacement services free of charge. I'm Julie Ryan.
Food prices in the United Kingdom are surging at their fastest rate on record.
Figures from the British Retail Consortium said on average a basket of products now costs 11.6% more than it did in October 2021, and warned those prices could keep on rising as the war in Ukraine continues to affect global supply chains and food exports, while higher energy costs and worker shortages simply compound the price problem. With Christmas approaching, retailers are expected to struggle to shoulder those pressures. Laura Macon-Isherwood, London.
The number of illegal immigrants caught at the southern border keeps rising. Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez says many are single males coming from El Salvador. The epicenter of the surge is now in his district near El Paso, Texas. Along the southern border, more than 200,000 arrests were made in the first month of the new fiscal year. That's up 28% from last October. Almost 2 in 3 registered voters believe the economy is currently in a recession. A Politico Morning Consult poll showed about only 22% say the opposite, and 14% had no opinion. Republicans say the economy was in a recession more often at 81% versus only 51% of Democrats who responded to that poll. Brad Siegel, NBC News Radio.
More hits to help you work. Because to get rich, you gotta work hard.
Yeah, dude, like I just made so much money that I could just sit around on my ass all day and play video games.
Wait, I forgot about Dogecoin.
Dogecoin rules!
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. Currently 18 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely, lovely, lovely Thursday, because that's exactly what it is. Is it Shocker Thursday? Who the hell knows? So let's start talking immediately on what is going on inside of the world of the hit list, because that is what's important. The American Cornhole League has boiled into a scandal. Take a listen to this. The Wall Street Journal reports that the competitors at the August World Championship in South Carolina used bags that were too thin and underweight. The game consists of a team of 2 lobbying bean bags and into a hull of an aligned board that is 27 feet long, 27 feet away, not long, because that would be definitely a huge ass board. With a $15,000 championship prize on the line, the competitors were shrinking poorly enforce the rules and regulations to try to win. Now the Journal reports that they are working to the refined regulations to be sure that this doesn't happen again, especially with money on the line. We are talking 15,000 here, 15000, just in case. Proficient Cornhole could make a killing on the circuit. The ACL reports that it has thousands of events a year, and the top player could take home around $250,000. $250,000. So, just talking about this, you can go around to playing cornhole around the country, and you could essentially be taking home $250,000.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
So take a listen to this. You've heard of bitter exes getting even with a lost lover, but a Miami man has taken his passion to a dangerous new levels. The 47-year-old Nissan Ortega is accused of showing up at his ex-wife's house, hammered, drunk, and driving his SUV into the front porch when she refused to let him in. 7 people were inside at the time, including the ex. He is the ex's niece. Fortunately, everyone was safe, and Ortega now faces 7 counts of attempted murder. Attempted murder. Because you're trying to get back with your ex that doesn't want you. I mean, I never understand this. Do you really have that thing about, oh my God, my ex? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of a weird thing. Like, do you have this unholy passion towards, what could have been that didn't work out in the long run? I don't know. It's just a weird one. Anyways, Walgreens and CVS are ponying up billions of dollars to settle lawsuits connected to OxyContin over prescription and abuse. Regulatory filing shows that CVS will pay $5 billion over the next 10 years. Walgreens will pay $5.7 billion over the next 15 years to settle multiple suits filed by the state and local governments across the country. In doing so, neither pharmacy acknowledges doing anything wrong. Hold on. I need one of them to acknowledge not doing anything wrong in my life then, if they're paying out $5.7 billion and $5 billion for doing nothing wrong, because, I mean, that just doesn't sound right at all.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's see. Italy's new government is working hard to make right the tortellation demands of all healthcare workers to get COVID vaccines. On Wednesday, the all unvaccinated healthcare workers who were fired were allowed to get their jobs back. Additionally, the government repealed the law that fined people over 50 years of age for not getting the jab. I mean, I don't know. It gets kind of weird. We're sitting around still, going through some of this stuff, going, okay, you have to get this to function in society in things that are going on. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's kind of a weird thing. Take it or suffer the consequences, or take it and suffer the consequences, depending on how you want to take a look at it. And it becomes a weird convo. It really does. And I shouldn't say it becomes a weird convo. It is a weird conversation just all across the board. So let's talk about this. If you think your local government is full of crooks, get a load of this. A small town mayor in Oregon has been arrested on charges for suspicious attempted murder and attempted assault. Attempted murder and attempted assault. What the hell's going on with the news stories today? Like, they seem to be like all over the place. Rufus, Oregon is outside of Portland, Oregon, and has less than 270 residents. On Halloween night, the mayor, a man named Dowen James, was allegedly spotted driving erratically and suddenly pulled over to the side of the road. Another driver with his family on board noticed the dangerous driving and pulled close to see if the driver was okay. According to the police, reports say that James stepped out and fired shots from a handgun at the passing drivers from the vehicle. Fortunately, no one was injured. James has been booked in the Northern Oregon Regional Correction Facility. What kind of mayor is this? I mean, I'm kind of confused here. So now he's trying to shoot up the town on, allegedly on Halloween night. That gets kind of interesting. I mean, how do you work through that one? I mean, it's just a weird thing. I don't know. Talking about weird stuff, maybe it's time to do even weirder stuff. Let's have John Smalls come in here real quick and let him tell us exactly what the hell is going on inside of the market. Oh, this is going to be a good one.
Market Beat Minute for Thursday, November 3rd, 2022. Equity markets got what they wanted from the Fed, but it was a two-edged sword that left the S&P 500 down more than 2.5% at the end of the day Wednesday. The FOMC raised rates by 75 basis points as generally expected and gave a policy statement that sounded dovish at first read. The takeaway from the statement, however, is the FOMC is prepared to keep hiking rates at the current 75 basis point clip or near to until the data changes, and the data is not good. Not only was the latest PCE price index hotter than expected and accelerating, but this week's labor data suggests economic activity is not slowing appreciably. The ADP report came in hotter than expected and included a 7.7% increase in wages that is underpinning inflation. Add to that another upswing in oil prices, and it looks like the FOMC will hit its 4.5% to 4.75% core interest rate sooner rather than later. And the S&P 500, it's still in a downtrend and heading down to retest its lows. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, I'm on the way down now. I hope to take you with me. Okay, so there you go. Thanks, John, for that. But take a listen to this then. The Dow lost about 505 points on Wednesday to close at 32,147. It is down 12% year to date. The S&P lost about 96 points to close at 3,759. It is down 21 points year to date. The NASDAQ lost about 366 points to close at 10,524. It's down 33%. That's 1/3, just in case, year to date. West Texas Intermediate traded at $89 a barrel, while Brent crude traded at $95. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.76. Bitcoin lost more than $300 on Wednesday, trading just north of $21,100. And there we were on Wednesday. 2,103 flights were delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Wednesday, with such 95 cancellations. That's exactly how it went. So just to talk about this, because we tend to talk about some of the charty-arty stuff, some of the stuff of doing things out there. So today, say cheese. This is not a joke. Everyone has heard about the man on the moon, but has anyone ever seen the smiling sun? NASA shared this photo. If you go to NASA, Sun, Space, and Scream at NASA, Hey Sun, it says today's Solar Dynamic Observatory caught the sun smiling. Seen in ultraviolet light, these dark patches on the sun are... Let me even see if I can pull this, because that's going to be the other thing. So the sun, let's see if we can do this over here on the screen. So this is what it looked like. That's what it looked like if you're on the video side. It says the ultralight seen in these dark patches, sun, are known for coronal holes and are regions that where fast solar winds gushes into the space. But there you go. There is the sun smiling, if you want to take a look at it that way. So a lot of stuff. Smiling sun, not really a topic that I thought I'd be covering today, but now we're here and we're doing it. So I guess that's the way that it's going. Anyways, take a listen to this. Nets star Kyrie Irving and the Nets are both agreeing to donate to anti-hate organizations following Irving's support of the anti-Semitic film. Scott Pringle has more.
Irving says he takes responsibility for the negative impact his posts have toward the Jewish community, but says he means no harm to any one group or religion. Irving says he opposes all forms of hatred. Last week, the Nets star tweeted in support of a movie that many deem as anti-Semitic, which he denies it is. The Nets and NBA both condemned Irving, and now Irving and the Nets are donating $500,000 each to anti-hate organizations. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, so thank you very much for that, letting us know what is going on. So we have to talk about this because it's making the news. The next Powerball jackpot could be a record breaker. Mark Mayfield has more information.
Last night's drawing, which means Saturday's drawing, is expected to be worth $1.5 billion. The largest ever Powerball jackpot was just over $1.5 billion back in 2016. The odds of winning on Saturday night are roughly 1 in 292 million. I'm Mark Mayfield.
So you're telling me I have a chance. That's what it sounds like to some. Anyways, election in the Commonwealth may not be stirring the pot like it was years in the past. According to one analyst, Richard Sterling has more information.
The first time in years, Virginia is largely immune from the political fever sweeping other parts of the country. The midterms are a big story nationally, but in central Virginia, it's much quieter. Political analyst Bob Holsworth calls it a snooze fest compared to 2018 and 2020. He tells CBS 6 while local voters will be spectators to some degree, there may be some small local races worth turning out for. I'm Richard Stelling.
Okay, I thought that they would be all worth turning out for in one way, shape, or form if you kind of give it some thought. Anyways, a man accused of threatening a school district official in Thousand Oaks must stay behind bars. Daniel Martindale has more information.
Wednesday, a judge ruled the 44-year-old man from Goleta must stay in jail without bail. He had been free on $20,000 bail after he was arrested on October 13th. That's when prosecutors say he left 2 voicemails with the Conejo Valley School District in which he threatened to kill district officials, including the superintendent. Investigators say he was upset about one of the district's educational policies. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Martindale, for that one. Take a listen to this. Russia says that it wants to avoid a nuclear war. Listen to what Mark Mayfield has to say.
Today, Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs released a statement saying the country wants to reaffirm its commitment to preventing nuclear war and avoiding arms races. They went on to say Russia believes nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought, and would only use the nuclear option in retaliation to the use of weapons of mass destruction. This is a stark contrast to Russian President Vladimir Putin's recent threats of using nuclear weapons in the war on Ukraine. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Oh, let's not even start talking about that kind of stuff because nobody wants to hear that or really even act on it if you really give it some thought there. Anyways, I think it is time. It is 32 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out doing the things that we get to do. So let's go ahead and do that thing that we do around this time.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, main story time, talking about and hanging out and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. And, I take a look at this time that we get to hang and talk about main stories. And sometimes I sit back. No, I really do. I sit back and I really want to cover something that could be changing for some, life-changing for me. And I look at it and I go, everything that I can say has more than likely been said before, and sometimes it comes across as being a jerk with some of the stuff that I do say, and that's not the intent. The intent here is to analyze and think about the things that we are doing and how we can move forward and change things. Listen. I know that there will be a day that will come about that I will step away from the things that I get to do for work. And I know that there is a day that you will step away from the things that you do for work. My intent since day one, well, that's probably a lie. That's probably a lie. My intent, since I kind of got the knowledge of what the hell I should be doing, was to always leave this as a better place than what I found it. Because I'm sure when I started working, I was just a kid, because that's what I was. I was a kid and really didn't have a lot of, common sense back then. I was just, wanted to make a couple bucks. But when I got into this whole thing of safety and realizing the impact that it has on people's lives, I always knew from that point on that I wanted to change things, that I wanted to leave it better than what I found it. And some people struggle with saying that, but I don't struggle with saying it. The reason why is that if you've ever been involved with an incident or an accident investigation, particularly a fatality, you will notice right away how everything changes and changes quickly. So listen, there's times that I sit here and I start talking about the things that are on my mind in regards of how things should be laid out and how we should acknowledge that we are not subject matter experts at things, and how we should acknowledge that we steal from Peter to pay Paul. Because at the end of the day, I look at this and go, what condition did you find the work that you do in, and are you making it better? I can tell you time after time after time after time after time, every organization that I have ever worked for, and this is every organization I have ever worked for, my intent was to go in to make it better than what it was for the section that I was in. And that's not one of those things that I go, oh, no, not always. Nope, always. And listen, I am a firm believer that if you go into somewhere new, you should listen to what the hell is going on there before you go in and go, now we need to change this. Because till this day, some of the best ideas are from the people that are already there doing the work. And some people will struggle with that. Some people will be like, no, they hired me for my ideas. But listen, at the end of the day, what is your long-term strategy? I hope it's not to get rich and leave, because I hope that, don't get me wrong. I understand we all work for money, so let's not get that confused. But also at the same time, we have to understand, what are we attempting to do? And I think that this seems to be a large part of the struggle that we tend to have. So what do you think? What do you think about this whole scenario? What is the intent on when you go in to do a job? Listen, there are people that are out there that are like, hey, I'm working for the weekend, blah, blah. Oh, I have a case of the Mondays. Okay, cool. That tells me immediately that you are doing something that you do not love. Don't get me wrong. I like days off. I like days that, I get to do nothing or hang out with friends or do whatever. But if your sole purpose of life is, when you walk in on Monday, I can't wait till Friday, and on Sunday night, you're crying that it's almost Monday, you're doing something that you don't love. Listen, I get it. And I, back in the day, was doing a job that I did not love. And it's not really was the job that I didn't love. I didn't like the people that I worked for. So I did not like getting up to go see them. Matter of fact, I used to try to go in as early as possible to do everything that I could do before I would have to deal with the people in management. Or let me rephrase that, the people that I reported to. So what's your goal? What's your intent? What are the things that you want to do with what you're doing? And don't think about it as a small thing. Think about it as a whole. Are you making this journey better for others? Listen, I'll tell you, what we do around here, what I do and all that kind of stuff, we give almost everything out for free. Like everything. Now, if I bring in other people that are doing stuff, then that becomes a different thing. But we almost try to give everything that we do on this channel, especially on the Safety FM channel, out for free. Everything on Radio Big for free. On the channel itself. So I don't know. I keep on going, what can we do to make it better? And if you go in with that particular thought process of what you are doing for work, what can you do to make it better? It's not about copywriting a name and this and that and, I'm going to copyright this thing that's public domain here, but if I change up a little verbiage, now it's my own copyright and I can franchise the shit out of it. I mean, that's all good stuff. But what are you doing in the long run to make it better? Better. Will it be in better condition than what you found it in? If you can answer that question, and the answer is yes, you're probably doing the right thing. Think about that.
Oops! Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
hotshot. During a heat wave, what's more important, air conditioning or air guitar?
Is it air conditioning?
Air guitar. The answer is always air guitar.
The sky is lit and it's gonna be a good night. What's mine is yours if it makes you feel alright. I wanna dance, I can feel it in my bones now. Feel the pull, oh, come on, let your body flow. So, let's go. No hesitating. We gotta move, we gotta shake, we gotta get up on feet and liberated.
Okay, you gotta feel liberated, it sounds like. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show.
Your mind says yes.
Coming across on Safety FM Radio Big. 45 past the top of the hour, just so you know where you're at in the time zone. Timeline, how much time you got left. Okay, this one's called Let's Go. This is by Ghost Hood. Yeah, that's Ghost Hood, just in case. You can take a downloadsy OZ of this one on Spotify and iTunes. Okay, thanks to Ghost Hood for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show, just in case. Oh, it's kind of one of those happy-go-lucky tunes. I like it. We can go dancing, it sounds like. We can do all that stuff and get moving and grooving. Anyways, 46 past. Let's get moving. Let's start talking. And let's do the most important aspect of anything that I will do in this lifetime when it comes to talking to people. And that's about me telling you about my friends at the Suicide in Crisis Lifeline. All you have to do is go to their website, give them a call, or shoot them a text. They all start with 988 in some way, shape, or form. Text and calling is 988. If you want to go to the website, it's 988lifeline.org. Listen, they cover a whole plethora of things. There are times in life that people are struggling. They are struggling with what to do. They're thinking that it's the end of the road. And these people can help you. The Lifeline can help you prevent suicide. That's the important part. They are available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they will provide you confidential support if you're in distress, prevention, and crisis resources. Listen, they are the best resources for you or your loved ones, friends and family, whatever you want to do. But I look at this and I go, it's something that we need to talk about. Not sometimes, not every once in a while, not on a specialty month. It is something that should be talked across the board. You know how you go to some of those safety meetings and at the very beginning they tell you, oh, we need to talk about, if there's a fire, this is how you escape. There needs to be a segment in every meeting that this is discussed. 988 needs to be addressed all across the board. No joke. No joke as I say that. So like I said, 988lifeline.org. You can either text at 988 or call 988. Text the word talk. Gets that thing moving and grooving right away. It's that important. We should talk about it all the time. Seriously. 988lifeline.org for more information. Let's talk real quick. We still got some new stuff to cover as we are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. So, you know that we are getting close to that time of the year where people are telling you to work out and all that kind of fun stuff. And, gym memberships will skyrocket come January. I actually just recently found out by a friend of mine that I was wrong the whole time thinking that it's January. It's actually February that is the big workout month and coaching month in gym memberships. But we can get to that in another day. And I might have some special news to talk to you about my friend that I was talking to. You're probably going to enjoy it once I get into it. But let me tell you this real quick. Work out smarter, not longer. Up until now, saying I just don't have the time has been a pretty good way to justify the fact that you never work out. But a new study might have just put the end to that excuse. Scientists at the University of Sydney in Australia say the 2-minute burst of vigorous physical activity totaling just about 15 minutes per week, are associated with lower risk of death. That's right, just 2 minutes of workout a day can help you live longer. The study author, given the lack of time that most commonly reported the barrier of regular physical activity, occurring small amounts of bursts during the day may be particularly attractive option to the busy people. Now, I've heard a guy say that 7 minutes a day was good, so now we're down to 2. I mean, I guess that's a good thing. Except now I have to spend 2 minutes each day coming up with another excuse, so I guess that's one way to look at it. And then plus save even more time by making very, very short workout playlists. I mean, so I guess that's the other way to look at it. What do you do? Do you like working out? Do you work out? And if you do, what is the frequency? I will tell you, I like going to the gym. I like going to the gym. I like hanging out. I like doing the workouts there because it kind of puts you into that mood. It's like you physically feel like you're doing something. Like you went from here to go to there and you're moving. Where in other times, if you're doing it at home, there's nothing wrong with doing it at home. But then it's just like the environment's weird. It's kind of a whole mindset, it seems like, from time to time. But talking about mindset, why don't we talk about a motivation mindset? Maybe we should do that. Let's bring some John Smalls in. Let him tell you about what the hell's going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Helen. Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, "Go for the moon. If you don't get it, you'll still be heading for a star. Happiness lies not in the mere possession of money. It lies in the joy of achievement, in the thrill of the creative effort." It's a great quote. I think it's a great idea to put in your very best effort. Even if you don't hit the mark you were aiming for, if you did your personal best, that's all anyone can expect of you. It will also make you feel good knowing that you did your very best. Don't give up when things get tough. Push through to the very end, and you might just surprise yourself. So many times, we are far more critical of ourselves than anyone else. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Sauna has tremendous benefits for health due to heat shock proteins. And another interesting benefit that has been gaining momentum with scientific evidence is that sauna use leads to improved memory consolidation. How does that happen? Sauna boosts growth hormone quite robustly, anywhere from 2-fold to 16-fold, depending on the regimen. If you stay in the hot sauna for 30 minutes, get out and cool down for 10, then go back in, growth hormone gets boosted quite dramatically. Well, growth hormone in turn activates IGF-2, insulin-like growth factor 2, which improves memory consolidation according to multiple scientific studies. Please note that sauna is not going to be right for everyone, and make sure to consult with your physician before use. For more information, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
It's the show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 53 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and doing all the fun stuff that we do. Anyway, so far this week, we have not spoken about Did You Know? The best time to weigh yourself is the first thing in the morning. That's when you'll get the most accurate weight because your body has the overnight hours to digest and process whatever you ate and drank the day before. And you should try to turn into the regular part of your routine the way that that way you're more likely to forget, or more likely not to forget, really. And it's the easiest way for trends to see trends over time. Weight fluctuates, so a pound or two isn't an issue. An extra 2 pounds and more strict around the several days, that could be the way to get your attention or two, or something along those lines, if you really give it some consideration. There. What else is going on inside of this world? Well, as you know, no winner for Tuesday night Mega Million drawing. Friday night's drawing will be for $119 million or a $59.1 million cash payout. So there you go. So there you go with that. What else are we seeing that is going on? Let's talk about something that happened back on this date. Taking a look around, let's see. Back in 2014, New York's 104-story One World Trade Center officially opens 13 years after the September 11th attacks, also referred to as the Freedom Tower, WTC-1. One World Trade Center, or 1WTC, is the tallest building in the U.S. as well in the Western Hemisphere. It is ranked number 6 among the tallest building in the world. That opened back in 2014. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about this. Kendall Jenner turns 27. Eli May turns 28. Angus McLaren, 34. Colin Kaepernick turns 35. Elizabeth Smart, 35. Dolph Lundgren turns 65 today. Roseanne Barr turns 70. Anna Winter, 73. And Larry Holmes turns 73 today, just for some birthdays. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you as well. National Sandwich Day. World Jellyfish Day, National Housewife Day, Klitsch Day, Smart Home Day, National Men Make Dinner Day. Hold on, I think I do that every day. What are you talking about? International Project Management Day, and International Strout Day. So there you go. That's some days that you can celebrate if you're so inclined to do so. So there you go. Anyways, let's take a look real quick, see if there's any other news stories coming in real quick. Anything that's coming about. Take a listen to this real quick. Chicago police are searching for the gunman connected to the mass shooting earlier this week in the city's west side of Chicago. Perry Williams has more.
Last night for the victims, Mayor Lightfoot said the shooters are being hunted.
You are now the hunted.
Yeah.
We have officers that are doing everything that they can around the clock to identify who you are and bring you to justice.
Top cop David Brown chimed in as well.
You did not get away with this, and you are not going to get away with this.
At least 14 people were wounded in the drive-by shooting Monday near the corner of California and Polk. The mayor also continued to call for a statewide ban on assault weapons. I'm Perry Williams.
Okay, thank you, Perry Williams, for that. Take a listen to this.
4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff of Eutelsat Hotbird 13G. Go Falcon 9.
Okay, the day is off to a good start for SpaceX as the company had successful early morning launch of the Falcon 9 rocket carrying French satellites blasted off from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. The launch was supposed to take place last night, but it was delayed a couple hours for pre-flight checks. So there you go. We're off to that one today. I wish I would have known about that because I would have seen if we could actually snuck that in here as we were starting to do the show this morning. But too late now. Can't go back in time. So there you go. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, try this. Wouldn't a self-addressed envelope be addressed to envelope? If you need a phone starter for today, try this. Who was the first band or musical artist you were really into, and do you still like them? Next, if you need something for the water cooler, try this one. 45% of people agree that you should wait until 25 to do this. What is it? Get a credit card. Yes, get a credit card. So there you go. That's going to pretty much sum up our time together. If you want to come hang out with me on the other side of the equation, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm for the next couple of hours or so if you want to take a look-see on what we have going on over there. Also, don't forget about our Safety Differently workshop taking place in March. You can find out more information about that at safetyfm.io if you are so encouraged to do so. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, we couldn't do what we do around here. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. To be united is a great thing, but to respect the right to be different is even greater. Think about that today. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.